I was kind of at the second and third and fourth grade, I was a real fighter, a real battler. I didn't always win the wrestling fights, but I got into a hell of a lot of them, and I would enter a fight just any excuse whatsoever. I became perceptive of societal things, and so I was often elected to be chairman of this or chairman of that or chairman of something else. I became a good boy in the upper grades. I saw that there was more fun and rewards for being a more or less citizen, as long as I could have some fun on the side. And dragged some of my compatriots into the mix. And they never would have done it themselves, but they were wary. But this was kind of fun. Oh man. That was when I was citywide chairman of the Safe and Sane Halloween program. So I went to the festivities and all the stuff, and had pictures taken and one thing and another. Then that evening, I told the guys, I got me a weather balloon, guys, and I got a tank of hydrogen. Anybody up for it? And Jack Seeley and a couple of other guys thought that sounded like a lot of fun.
Well, what else did you have besides the helium and the weather balloon?
A case of dynamite. With a very, 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 very long fuse. A fuse that would burn for about 30 minutes. And rigged that sucker up on Alki Point in West Seattle. And let her rip and just turned tail and got a long way away from it. We were almost home when the thing went off, and it was a big whoom, and went to bed, said, that's that. And papers were full in the morning of that the Coast Guard spent the rest of the night seeking the sunken ship in Elliott Bay and didn't find anything. And the fact that you laugh about it, you have enough youthful juices in you to say that was a pretty funny thing. Dangerous as hell, stupid as hell, but it was a fun thing. Going to Stanford was a great experience. My buddies and I, Norm Brown and Sam Stearns, Jack Seeley, spread some wild oats and lived life as it could be led. I still got good grades. Did that, but I did nutty stuff too. Gradually over the years, I calmed down. Especially when I met girls. Yeah, most particularly after I met Flo. After I met Flo, there was nothing else. Nothing else. It's as clear in my mind as if it were yesterday. It's hard for me to talk about it without weeping. Time came for the end of the rushing season, and that always involved a banquet for the rushies and their dates. And if they didn't have dates, the brothers would find dates for them. I said, oh shit, I don't have a date. Oh, why not? God, I never got around to it, so I said, screw it, I'll go by myself. And he said, my sort of senior guy, Bill Butler, said, bullshit, you are not going alone. You are going with a date, Bates, and you have no choice in the matter. And he spoke to his girlfriend, who asked Flo if she had a date. Well, she said, I didn't have a date, but there's a family wedding, a wedding of people close to the family up in Burlingame where she lived. And said, I've been planning to go to that. And somehow it came up in talking with her father. She said, I have kind of a dilemma. I've got this blind date that I'm being asked to go to. And this wedding of somebody I'd really like to go to. And his comment was, for God's sakes, girl, go get your own man. And there it was. She agreed, for no good reason. She agreed, and there she was standing in the dormitory when I came to pick her up, and holy shit. It turned out to be a really, really fun time. She was lively, and the people around her, hey, you guys, come see who Bates is with. Da 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 da. And this was really a big thing, especially for being the rushing chairman. And the chairman got a dandy lady, and da da da. That was all wonderful. We went back to the fraternity, and the group all milled around in the basement, where there's a pool table and set up drinks and one thing and another. And Flo and I didn't talk to anybody else in this packed room for the whole evening. I still weep about it. I get emotional about it. But we found that we had so much in common. It was just, it was bizarre. Oh, wait a minute, you like that too? You did that also? Your parents said that to you? My God, we've lived the same life in two different families. Took her home to the dorm at the end, and I was too bashful to kiss her. But I was pretty excited. And I guess that it was the next day she called. And I think she called, actually, to make the date for a basketball game up in the city. And came home, and I kissed her goodnight. And whew, was that a big deal. And as I left, I remember so clearly saying, my God, I could live the rest of my life with that lady. I never changed my mind. Flo becoming pregnant with Mary Ellen was as accidental as the birth of all the rest of you. Nothing was planned. We just let it happen. For Flo's father, this was, you're pregnant, for God's sakes, what do you think you're doing? He was just distraught. Don't you know something about birth control? And I went through this, well, look, I've got this thing all wired. We're going to be able to just do out our term back there in St. Louis and then come back home with the baby. And it's just going to work out fine. Will, don't worry about it. And the stupidest goddamn thing I ever heard of. And then came the armistice. And the armistice changed everything. The guys who've been over there fighting in Korea get to come home now. And these other guys who've been training get to come over to the Far East. And I got caught in the draft. So it was going to be about 10 months that I'd be there before my hitch was up. That Christmas they made the movie that they sent to me. I had gotten a package, and the package was had the note in it. Here's the picture of your daughter enjoying her Christmas over here. And then I just couldn't wait to show that. And the only place I could show it was at the Base Theater. And this was about, I don't know, 15 or 30 minutes before the evening film was to be shown in the theater. So I played the whole thing before the audience even came in still. So I got to see it a couple of times. And then he showed it for the incoming audience. And, oh, oops. Oh, that's routine. And then he gave it to me, and I got to ship it home.